For the start of Elite Single Sculls.
What an international affair this is.
Elite Single Sculls. There we are. So as you can see, there's one from Singapore and the other one from Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv.
Which was in Israel last time I looked. Yes?
I don't know.
Yes. Tel Aviv. You didn't do geography.
I didn't know. I wasn't a geography student, I'm afraid.
But you were at Durham.
I was. This is true.
I can't believe you haven't mentioned it.
So I've been quite good so far, haven't I? I'm keeping my Durham roots toned down.
No, I like hearing about your Durham roots. How is my friend Benedict? Is he still doing a bit of commentary? Right, here we go. At the end of the island, Elite Single Sculls. I must admit, I don't know anything about these two scullers, but I tell you what, it's going to be a cracking race. End of the island, and you can see here that the two scullers, so Diana Egerton Warburton from Tel Aviv. She's an Israeli athlete who, with international representation, so she has raced before at international level. She raced Elite Double Sculls last year here, and sadly was knocked out in the first round. However, she's up against a young lady from Singapore, Aisha, I think her name is. She has qualified for the Rio Olympics, finished 7th overall in the Asia and Oceania Olympic qualification regatta, previously won the Southeast Asia Games and competed 2013 World Championships. Whoa, that's a bit of a CV, isn't it? So she is on the station nearest to us, and I think from that bio you would expect who to win.
Yes, I think, and clearly we can see that that's the case as it stands at the moment. But single sculls I find such an interesting one to watch, especially when it's at sort of international level, that I think mindset plays a lot in the single scull, because there's no one else to, in terms technically to be able to time yourself with, or that factor's completely removed. And I think a lot is cracking the other person next to you, and that's why you find that in these smaller boats, a lot can change very quickly. You could be 3 lengths down and still come through to win at the end of the course, whereas that's far less likely to happen with an 8, for example. So, I wouldn't say that this result that we're seeing right now on the screen, where we've got the young lady from Singapore on the near side, Miss Isaiah, who will come through to win. And I think, in fact, it's actually the sculler from Tel Aviv who has put in a really good push through the central part of the race, and she's actually coming back.
She is.
Is brilliant to see.
She looks to be rating a lot higher.
Wow, what a race this is turning out to be, and some real quality. And as they come through that line on the camera, you can see it is still the sculler from Singapore who's about 3/4 of a length up. But in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the sculler from Tel Aviv seems to be eating away, sort of, bit by bit, stroke by stroke. I think she's gaining.
Well, they're just passing our window here now, and there is not a lot to choose between these two scullers. Nearest to us probably by 3 or 4 feet, but whoa, a good race this one. Very, very good race indeed.
I really wouldn't be surprised if we saw the sculler from Tel Aviv pull up to within sort of a 1/4 of a length in the next few strokes even. I think she's got a much longer stroke than the sculler from Singapore. She's really utilising her length, which I think is really important. I think the sculler from Singapore potentially rating that little bit higher, that little bit more punchy, but probably a little bit smaller in stature by the looks of things from the screen, which means she has to keep the rate up that little bit more, be that little bit snappier. But I think the sculler from Tel Aviv may have just started to push through.
There's interesting enough, they're not looking across at each other at all. They've obviously got a bit of peripheral. They're level. Look at that.
Absolutely level.
Whoa, what a race.
And
so this is elite single sculls. We have a sculler from Singapore and a sculler from Tel Aviv. Amazing.
And I can hear the commentary coming from the launch as well, getting quite excited for this one. Coming through the speakers here on the course.
You can hear Stan, they can probably hear him as well. You can hear Stan getting very, very animated, followed by Consuta. Look at that, what a brilliant, brilliant image. The steam launch following these two elite single scullers. They are half the river apart, but in terms of who's leading who, there's not much in it. I think possibly it's our friend from Tel Aviv who is showing a slight lead.
I think you're probably right. I think she might have broken the sculler from Singapore by quite some margin. And we did say earlier, these small boats, everything changes so quickly. And if you've got that mental attitude to be able to row through someone like that in the middle of the course, it's very unlikely that someone's going to come back on you.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that was a terrific race. And there we are at the finish. I think she realised, just eased up a bit, realised that she couldn't get back on terms. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant race. We're back at the start then for the next heat of the elite single sculls. This is Limburg of Tideways Scullers School on the Berkshire station, and from the United States, what's that? University of Massachusetts. University of Massachusetts, United States of America, and it's Miss Culverson. They're at the start, waiting for the umpire to drop his flag and give them the go.
I think that was a very dynamic start from the Tideways Scullers sculler. That's Miss Limbrick. And what a beautiful shot there from above as they head down the island. I think it may be the sculler from Massachusetts who's just managed to eke out about a length on the start. She's really cracked the cylinders on and shot out of the start and has already put a length on the sculler from Tideway Scullers.
So this is Sam Kolofson, from the University of Massachusetts, and we can see here, can you see that? She
raced in their varsity team and their second varsity cruise this year, and she's she won a silver in the club singles at the Head of the Charles, a very prestigious event. So that's we know that we're looking at a really quality sculler when you've got somebody who's medaling at an event like Head of the Charles. That was last year in 2015. Of course, that takes place in October every year. Lots of crews travel from across the world to compete in that one, so she'll have had some stiff competition then. She'll face some stiff competition here again today in these elite single sculls, and my word, Miss Kolofson has put the foot down on the pedal for this first few 100 metres and has opened up an extortionate lead over.
And she's not letting up. Look at that.
Tideways Scullers, and she really isn't letting up. No, absolutely not.
I found an old Regatta radio rate meter lying around, so if you can drive one of those, what sort of rate is she doing? She doesn't look to be letting up, does she?
She's up at about 32 at the moment, which in a single scull, that's a good racing rate.
I think she's just eased off there a bit now, looking at the images here as she goes away from Temple Island, through the car parking area, coming up to what is Remenham Church, and she has really demolished the opposition. Wowee, that is a very, very impressive bit of sculling in the elite single sculls. So we saw the first race, which was the opposite of this, wasn't it?
I was about to say, we've gone from one race where we've had an extremely tight one to a really impressive display of dominance here from the sculler from Massachusetts, and I think it'll be interesting to see who she'll come up against in that next round of this elite single sculls, because we'll get a real feel then for the quality of the other heats, because that was so close. So it'll be interesting to see which of the two heats had the will pick up in the next round to potentially go on to win.
I mean, she is so far ahead.
What a shot that is! Look at that, the whole course there in its magnificent state. Really is a beautiful sight to see these scullers so far up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that drone is at some height there, isn't it? Looking down over the course that saw the 1908 and 1948 Olympics. And it runs north-south. Did you know that? Not a lot of people know that. Yeah, there you go.
And it is the straightest 2,000 metre piece of water in the world, is it not? A natural 2,000 metre piece of water in the world.
Yes, I don't know if that. I'll say yes, but I'll tell you what. You go a long way.
I'm going to go along with that.
You'd have to go a long way to find anywhere more beautiful and more pretty, and that's a well-trodden path that for many years the training camp of our Great Britain team and Redgrave, Pinsent and co would blat up and down there on a daily basis